Hello everyone, just wanted to do a little tutorial for your flower of the week. But first of all, I just wanted to show you how I would draw this flower out. So drawing it on paper might be a little easier for you to pick up on. And this week what I've chosen is what we would call well, actually, in Chuck Storms' book of Marigold, well, like the marigolds I remember in my mother's garden, but nonetheless, we'll do something like this. So, making kind of what looks like sort of a six-legged spider, which is not correct. Of course, they have 8 legs, but we could draw kind of a main construction line like this to indicate the direction of each one of the arc of each one of these petals that's going to come out here. So as you can see, we got this going this way and this going that way, same way up here. So how does this look in practice? So got kind of curved football shapes coming out of there. So got a main construction line here, a main construction line for each one of those petals like that. So, and the shape of the petal respects the form of that main construction line that I first drew out there. So this is the flower that we're going to do here in leather. So let me scribble this out on this piece of nice Herman oak leather. Four, 5, 6, and I guess it's not all that critical, the number of petals. I've done this flower with more before, but it does get a little populated, gets a little crowded. So I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I got my old smoothie here and just cut a deep line around there. See the push and twist, pressure and release. How are you doing on the practicing the push and twist? So I wind up with 2 kind of places, I suppose you might say, on each side where I've cut deep. Well, that'll be undercut. Okay. Now let's see. Let's go ahead and rounded smooth beveler, I guess is what we were calling this. Bevel around the middle, the center. Noticed on the last one in particular, my focus wasn't was kind of in and out and in and out. Hopefully I've got that corrected here. It seems a constant learning curve, but it's technology. So I don't know if I have demonstrated this one, but it's, I suppose, a camouflage tool, very, very coarse, and it is a craft tool. That is a 366. So what I've done is filed off the outside here, leaving only, I think, 3 lines, and rounded off the back side here just a little bit. Polished the sides up as I did so. So what does this thing look like? So take the it's always important to tip especially our line shaders sideways. So I'm kind of finding a place where that original construction line was, or is, I guess. If you have to draw it out, you certainly can. And running one long texture out. There. So, of course, the the back end of this tool, the end that is the deepest, right against this flower center, is designed when I track out of there. If I do it like I want to, I've done it fairly well on some of these. Probably the best one would be right here. See how that, as I tracked out of there, it kind of made a little chatter. I like that texture. So, let's. This is my little petal stop, and what I do is come up close to see, as we're looking at this, these 2 petals are foremost. So that would give us this little petal stop. I step it away from the center, and that's just something I borrowed from, I noticed on this Victorian era and earlier architectural drawings and so on and so forth. They just stepped it away, creating a little space right there. But as I travel around here, then I crowd it in a little closer. Okay, now we're ready for some beveling. Foremost objects first. What I learned when I was 12 years old, when I got the Tandy kit for Christmas. And, bevel the foremost objects first, so that line is in front of that one. This one is in front of the next one there. this around, make it a little bit easier to so when I'm beveling, I'm kind of tracking along with the depth of my cut. I cut deeper, then I bevel a little bit deeper, and of course that's where that shader, or I should say that little rounded very first tool I used there, round smooth beveler, I guess. There's a mouthful for you. Okay, now I've got, this is just a P368, just a craft tool. I use it a lot, so line shader. So using the point of the tool to shade into the point of the petal. Just got to trying to respect that original construction line. See how that's tracking right with that original construction line. That one right there. And then these are just kind of feeding to, I guess, what you would call a, well, if I can hit the tool, kind of a vanishing point where all of that shading began, right there on each petal. So I did a pretty good job, except for this one. This is, there, that's been a little better. Those two aren't quite up to snuff. See how these are better. So sharp little shading. I didn't get that done on those very well. So this is actually the same shader. I just filed it down so it's narrower. But as I've said before on these, the way these petals curve, this part of the petal is foremost. This one is going, this side is going away from us. So you need to start thinking in 3D in order to kind of visualize how the shading needs to be. Something travels away from us, kind of curves away from us, and it's the reveal, the appearance is going to be smaller. Gets closer, it's going to be larger. Okay. Well, let's ready for an undercut beveler. And I've got just kind of my sort of medium size for this, and it's going to work for all of these little areas. And here's our pie shape. Couple of 2 or 3 areas that, see, it doesn't really work in those areas. It's a little more abrupt. Stop right there. Let's just a craft tool, an inexpensive line shader. And it creates a little bit of a bowl right there. And what about dress cuts? You can come out of there just same way with where our main construction line was. Yeah, lay down a veiner. Kind of round off that bottom, kind of give a little texture in that bottom right there. So there we have it, what Chuck would call a marigold.